There we go. There we go. Okay. It only took like 100 times to figure this out. So I am praying that the audio is on as well. So if the audio is not on, I apologize, but we are having a heck of a Halloween day. I like to think that today somebody asked me if I dressed up, and I'm like, yes. Hang on. I'm like, yes, I did. I'd like to introduce Romeo. So this is Romeo. Little Romeo. He does have a Halloween costume, so he is going to be putting that up. But Romeo is my new little guy. So introducing Romeo to the world. If you can let me know if you can hear me, that would be great. So if somebody can actually just give a thumbs up or whatever the case is, that would be great. We've got a weird microphone issue today as well. So we're coming in a little bit spotty as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, if you can let me know, that would be really good. If you can't hear me, that means that we got a problem. So I'm just trying to look at the settings right now and make sure that you can actually hear me. That would be really good. So if you can't hear me, then we got a problem. But I think you can hear me. So if you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you can hear me. So I'm guessing you cannot hear me because nobody's giving me a thumbs up. So that's a bit of a problem. Okay, there's one comment that I can I'm going to try to see if I can find it. Okay, let's see here. All right, let me take a look and see. All right, shit, man. Okay, I can't see any of the comments because this thing is killing me. All right, we're having a lot of fun with this one. Oh, here we go. Okay, good. Woo! Okay, so thank you very much. All right, we have a massive, it must be, I was laughing. I said, everybody must be at home today because we are having the shittiest, I'm sorry, Facebook, internet connections I've ever seen in my life. So we haven't had it this bad since 1980, I think it is. Anyway, so let me get right into it. Okay, that was Romeo, by the way. He's my new little ride or die. So anyway, he's adorable. He's like pooed and peed all over my house. It's been absolutely fantastic. Anyway, so let's get going. All right, so here's the thing. What I'm noticing a lot, guys, and I'm going to just kind of roll through. None of this is going to make you fall off your chair and go, holy smokes, I've never heard this before. This is just a really good reminder. I'm seeing a big diversification. If you're a team or an agent who has never lead generated before, or you've relied a lot on online leads and stuff, you're going to see that this market we're heading into is very different than anything you've ever headed into before. Okay, so I'm going to point out to you a few really key things that I'm noticing that I think will give you a little bit more of a mental prep on this, okay? First thing is that agents, this is the difference between the agents who are producing at a high level versus agents who are not producing at a high level. And again, easy fixes. Really easy fixes. And if you agree, great. If you don't agree, that's okay too. It's just kind of what I'm seeing. We coach a lot of people. So this is just some good feedback and some advice because I'm seeing a lot of errors get made and whatnot. First thing is that the mega agents or agents who are succeeding, they're focusing, they're not focusing on today only, they're focusing on the future. What I mean by that is I'm seeing way too many people, they're dumpster diving in, and you'll notice I only have one earring in. That's because I was on a headset, so thank you very much. Somebody just text messaged me and said you only have one earring. I totally know that. Anyway, long story short is a lot of agents are only focusing on today's business. And focusing only on today's business is very dangerous. You want to have a mixed bag. Okay, so you want to have leads for the future, leads for current, focus on both businesses. Okay, and what I mean by that is this. I have coached so many teams in the last 2 weeks that are doing open houses, and they're not even focused in on future business, CMAs, running reports. Like, you got to be doing it all right now. You got to have today's business, future business, and then a little bit in between. You have to look at everything. You don't need to work so hard. Okay, we're coaching so many agents on this. Stop working your asses off. Okay, what you have to do is if you did an open house this past weekend and you had 7 people come through, if you didn't get one appointment, you don't need to work harder. You need to improve your skills. Okay, you need to be building that business for the future. If 6 neighbors came through, that's 6 neighbors that you can do CMAs. That's the future. That's your database. It's still equally important is my point. Okay, second thing, today's agent is not focused on expanding their business, okay? And what we look at is there's a difference between market share and non-market share. So what I see a lot of agents doing is they're not even thinking about market share. They're just diving in everywhere. Where can I get this? Where can I get that? If you notice, the best people in the business in real estate right now, they're focused on market share. That means building their databases, market share. If you live in your own neighborhood and you don't have any listings in your own neighborhood, you have zero market share in that neighborhood. If you have one listing over the last 12 months in your neighborhood and there's 4,000 homes, that means you have no market share. Okay, how is that? You don't need to go to 17 other areas. Focus in on where you live, focus in on market share, focus in on that. Instead of adding 16 different things, I have a ton of people approaching me going, I'm going to add coaching into my business. I'm going to start coaching. And I'm like, guys, you don't have market share. You know, focus on making a ton of money in your market share. Or somebody might say, I'm going to focus in on expanding to another area. How much market share do you currently have in your current area? If you have less than 1% market share, why are you looking at expanding? There's 99% market share left for you to attain. Doesn't that make a little bit more sense? I think it makes more sense. So that's the difference. A lot of people are not focusing on exactly where they are. They're looking at adding layers that make no sense whatsoever. Market share is king. Next thing is that the experienced agents versus the agents who are not succeeding in this market, or I should say success versus unsuccesses, are you willing to grind? Are you willing to get back in and say, okay, are you willing to accept the fact that maybe for 7 years now, it's been a little bit easy? Or during COVID, it was, you know, the last year of COVID was a little bit easier than a lot of people anticipated. So do you have grind in you? If you don't have grind in you, you're going to struggle. I don't care what you say, okay? It requires a certain level of mental capability to get to the next level in this market, which means you need to be listening to podcasts, put the fresh shit in your head, learn what it takes to grind. If you really want to know what it takes to grind, go look at any of the top producers in the industry, sit down with them and ask them and say, yes, it looks easy to them today, but ask them, interview them. What did you do to grind? What happened? You know, tell me about the hardest time of the market and why are you not fearful about this one? But if you notice that the people who have been through this type of market before are grinding the shit out of things. Second thing, do you have abundance or scarcity mindset? If I hear one more person in a scarcity mindset acting like the market's collapsing or the world is going to end or whatever the case is, I'm literally going to just like fall into a coma or something and go to sleep. Because honestly, like scarcity versus abundance mindset, if you cannot see the opportunities that are right in front of your face right now, and there are a million that we're coaching on right now, if all you can see is doom and gloom and I got to save my money and I got to do this and I got to do that, then guess what? You obviously have a very, very different mindset, because abundance means you see opportunities in every market. Okay, now I could quote Warren Buffett, but the truth is that who really, honestly, Warren Buffett, like, we're not going to be Warren Buffett. And he's also 700 years old, and the same opportunities that made him successful do not exist today. Okay, they don't. It's a different life, different period, different everything. Smart guy, yes. Richest guy, absolutely. But at the same token, he probably lost 50 billion in his fortune already, and I don't have 50 billion to lose. But I can tell you, I can see opportunity. Every market has an opportunity, and if you're always focused on scarcity, that's the difference between, you know, those who are really nailing it and those who aren't. Get excited about the opportunity. Okay, is it harder to get there? Of course it is, but guess what? You have your good years, your bad years, your whatever you want to call it, but don't think in scarcity. Think in abundance. There's more than enough business out there for you. It's right in front of your face. So you don't have to always recreate things. You know, really think abundance. And if you hang out with people who are scarcity thinkers, it's a bad decision. The other thing you have to remember is Putin. Okay, Putin. That's right, Putin. For those of you who are not French Canadian, Putin. So here's the thing, in Putin analogy, and I'd like to thank Peggy Hill for this one. She was a real solid person last week, and this is hers, not mine, so give credit where it lays. Putin is how you really want to look at your business, okay? The French fries represent about 60%, okay? And then you've got 20% gravy, 20% cheese curds. Your business should be 60% your database, your sphere, your network, your people that you're meeting, and then 20% maybe online leads, you know, and then maybe another 20% social media. But their social media and online leads should not represent 60%. Okay, if it does, then you are going to be working a lot harder than the rest of us. 60% French fries, 20% gravy, 20% cheese curds. That's how you have to look at it. And if you like Putin as much as I do, it should make a lot of sense, okay? Your foundation is the French fries, okay? If your foundation is online leads, then you got to really look at that, because that is going to be a very hard game to play over the next year or two, okay? 20% online leads, smart idea. 20% gravy, smart idea. 20%, you know, open houses, social media, whatever the case is, absolutely. Or mark it up a little, 50%, you know, your sphere, your database, and your relationships, and then the rest you can do however you want. But reversing it, that's one thing that we're seeing that's really putting people behind. Okay, so that leads me into the next thing. The most successful people in the industry, they build databases. They understand the power of building a database. The larger your database, the larger the market share, the larger the relationships you're having. Real estate is a relationship building business. Okay, if you're always trying to hide behind people that you don't know in the online lead aggregation world, and you know I support online leads, so don't even go there with me. Okay, I very much support them. Everybody knows that, you know, I definitely dive into them all the time. I love them. But I also think that if you don't understand the power of building a database and relationships, then you can find me one realtor in the existence of the world who is totally not relationship based. You know, they just burn and churn their clients. And you show me that their business didn't take at least a 30% dive in the last, I'd say, even 3 months. Okay, so that's a big one. If your business is dying down, you're not in relationships. You need to up your relationships. Okay. Next thing is that hiring a buyer agent too fast. We're seeing a lot of people make mistakes in that, and they're basically saying, okay, I'm going to hire a buyer agent. I'm going to hire a buyer agent. If you do not have enough leads or business or listings, or you're going to still work with buyers, why are you bringing a buyer agent on board? Okay, you can build a business model like that if you want, but anybody who has a buyer agent on their team, you guys really need to have the business to give your buyer agent. Okay, they're paying you 50%. And you're going to see a lot of brokerages are going to change their business model, and they're going to try to eliminate any teams that cannot provide for buyer agents by giving them a lot of leads and a lot of business, real leads. The market centers and offices are just going to start producing leads for you. Almost every office that I know of is moving into this model where they're going to start to buy online leads just like teams are, and they're going to pass them out to people in their offices. So it's going to eliminate the power of having a team. So if you're bringing a buyer agent on board way too early, then you're not only watching your revenue go down, but what you're equally doing is you're probably not going to have that team member part of your business much longer. And that's going to affect your cost of sale. Okay, so watch out for that. Do not bring team members on board too early. Okay, it's not fair to them, but it's also not fair to your business and your bottom line. Okay, work harder to get there. Earn the buyer agent onto your team. Be at the point where you're like, if I don't bring a buyer agent on board, I can't service all these great leads. But if you're bringing a buyer agent on board just because you're getting internet leads and you got 100 internet leads that are all kind of dead, make sure you have a system like an ISA or something like that in there to help support them. Equally, otherwise, you're going to see that brokerages are going to take your agents away from you probably because they're going to start implementing a model that's going to work better than the one you've got. Okay, so another thing that we see is they're hiring assistants. They're not hiring operations directors. If you guys really want to look up the book Rocket Fuel. It explains all this to you. If you have an assistant, they're doing tasks. That is a lower wage position. A lot of people are bringing on board people as assistants and expecting operation stuff out of them. It's a different job, different personality, different profile, different everything. If you're confused, read Rocket Fuel. Very good explanation on it, okay? Very important. Assistants do tasks, and they're really good at managing calendars and other things like that. Operations directors, they build systems and models. They're the big thinkers, okay? They can work with you, they can take your big thinking idea and they can roll it into smaller manageable tasks for you, which is really important. Next two things left. One thing, they don't associate with small thinkers. I noticed that almost every successful agent that I coach and work with, they hang around with big thinkers. And big thinkers, they encourage you to think big. They're usually more positive. They can see things. They're not blind to what's going on, but they don't get scared of these things often. They kind of look at the opportunity. All of the things that they talk about is really symptomatic of a big thinker. If you can really tell the small thinkers, they're usually going, okay, I got to cut the cost of this. I got to cut the cost of that. I got to watch out for this. They're counting every dollar. There's nothing wrong with counting your budget and doing what you have to do with that. But big thinkers generally see bigger opportunities. They know everything's going to be okay. They know they can see the forest before the trees. Small thinkers and scarcity thinkers, you know what, usually all hang out together, or they try to infiltrate because they don't know how to get bigger. So small thinkers usually kind of try to find a big thinker, latch onto them, but then when they can't compete with that person, they bring them down, okay, with their small thinking. Okay, so it's really just about staying away from the small thinkers and staying in the circles of the really big thinkers, the ones who see opportunity. That is a really big tip, is the circle you keep, so important of where we're heading. And the final thing is, which is just a really obvious thing, I'm a coach, okay? I can tell you right now, we're getting 30 to 40 coaching leads every single week emailing us. For the love of God, you know what? If you talk to a coach and you don't want to spend the money and you want to make $500,000 extra and you can't invest one commission check a year in coaching, don't waste the coach's time. Okay, I cannot believe how many people call in, and I'm being very honest with everybody, saying, hey, you know what, if I talk to one more person who wants to make 500, 600, $1 million extra, but then doesn't want to invest in themselves and sort of sits back and is expecting a coach to be free, the coaches that are offering you free shit suck. Okay, it'll be exactly what you get. And I'm telling you, don't waste your time. Invest in yourself. I have 5 coaches. 5. Okay, my biggest thinkers invest in themselves, and the returns are there. But if you call up, which we're hearing all the time, you made mistakes in your business, fix them, work with a coach, believe in yourself, invest in yourself. But if it's free, chances are it's not worth it, because you can get lots of free content everywhere else. So you know what? That's how it is. If the person doesn't have billable coaching hours, what are you paying for? And the next thing is if you expect to get up here, but you want to be here, you've heard the saying, don't have champagne taste on a beer budget. The most impressive people in the real estate business have always had a history of investing in themselves. So if you're joining a team, you're part of a team, who coaches them? Who do they invest in? What's happening? Do they pay for coaching for the team? Look at all these things. And if you're a single agent, invest in yourself. Okay, really do that, because where you're going to go, what you're going to do in the next year has returns on it. And there is massive value in knowing about that. Okay, so really pay attention to that. Those are some of the best tips that I have on what the difference is or who's succeeding and who's not. It's a mental game, guys, and it's a skill level game. So be cautious, excited, but this is a wicked opportunity to take your business to the next level. See it for what it is, and it's an amazing time. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.